It's a scene that plays out in millions of homes every day. A toddler drops a favorite toy, it shatters, and the tears start instantly. As a stressed parent, the immediate instinct is often to do whatever stops that crying as quickly as possible. We might reach for a quick fix, saying, "It's okay, don't cry," or "It's just a toy." It feels like common sense, but this brief interaction contains a hidden tension between the parent's need for peace and the child's need for understanding. This is the starting point for emotional invalidation, the act of minimizing a child's internal experience to make the situation more manageable for the adult. The biological reality is that dismissed emotions don't simply evaporate. If a child isn't helped through their distress, the raw energy of that panic stays in the body, often mutating into a more complex form of anxiety. When a toddler is told they're fine while their heart is racing, they learn a dangerous lesson. Their own physical sensations cannot be trusted. If this becomes the repeated pattern of their childhood, it creates a deep internal disconnect. This dynamic was famously captured in early attachment research by Mary Ainsworth. She studied how infants react when a caregiver becomes emotionally blank and unresponsive. For an infant, an unresponsive caregiver creates a terrifying biological conflict. The very person they rely on for safety has suddenly become the primary source of their stress. This leads to disorganized attachment. The child is trapped in a loop, simultaneously driven to seek comfort from their parent while fearing the rejection or punishment they've learned to expect. In the developing brain, emotional care is synonymous with physical protection. Because of this link, persistent emotional unresponsiveness registers as a threat to the child's literal survival. Dr. John Gottman spent decades interviewing families to understand how these reactions shape a child's future. He identified specific parenting styles based on how adults handle their children's negative moods. The dismissing parent sees a child's sadness as a distraction to be cleared away. They use jokes or snacks to make the bad feelings disappear, essentially telling the child that their emotions are trivial. The disapproving parent goes further, viewing negative emotions as a behavioral problem to be strictly suppressed through discipline. In this house, crying isn't just ignored, it's punished. To survive in these environments, children learn to mask their feelings. However, maintaining a flat exterior while feeling internal turmoil requires a significant portion of their daily mental energy. Whether the parent uses distraction or punishment, the takeaway for the child is the same. Their internal world is fundamentally wrong and must be hidden to maintain the relationship. This constant suppression creates a buildup of internal pressure. When a child's nervous system is never allowed to discharge this energy through expression, it stays in a state of chronic agitation. When this environment of emotional neglect is chronic, researchers have found a strong correlation with the development of borderline personality disorder traits in adulthood. The adult symptoms, like intense mood swings, impulsivity, and a feeling of emptiness, are often the long-term results of a nervous system that never learned how to regulate itself. Because the child was never guided through their feelings, they reach adulthood without the tools to handle even minor emotional setbacks, leading to a life defined by instability. There is a third common style, the laissez-faire parent. These parents are comfortable with their child's tears and allow every emotional expression, but they offer no guidance on what to do with those feelings. Simply releasing the emotion isn't enough. Without a parent to help them problem solve, the child remains overwhelmed by their own intensity, lacking any boundaries or strategies for the future. Validation without guidance still leaves a child alone in their distress, drowning in feelings they haven't been taught how to manage. The most effective approach is what Gottman calls emotion coaching. These parents see a child's meltdown not as a nuisance, but as a critical window for bonding and teaching. This process follows 5 specific steps, moving from an awareness of the child's mood into empathy. Step 3, verbally labeling the emotion, is the turning point. For a panicked child, finding the right word acts as a biological brake pedal for the brain's alarm system. This is co-regulation. The parent essentially loans their own calm, regulated nervous system to the child. By staying grounded, the adult provides a rhythmic anchor that helps the child's chaotic energy settle. An emotion coach understands that in a moment of crisis, Preserving the connection with the child is far more valuable than fixing the broken toy that started the tears. Through thousands of these interactions, the child internalizes this process. What began as external support eventually becomes the child's own internal ability to self-regulate. These findings are actually quite forgiving. Gottman's research shows parents only need to get these steps right about 20 to 25% of the time to see positive developmental results. Ultimately, emotional safety isn't the absence of distress or broken toys. It is the absolute certainty in a child's mind that when they do feel overwhelmed, they won't have to face that feeling alone.